Okay. So, if you're building something with Legos, some people supply the Legos, some people supply the perspectives, or the different slots and positions for like the Legos to go. There's different sides to it, and my thing is the instruction manual. I may not have all the pieces, but I'm going to be able to tell you whichever pieces you're working with how to line them up into building something with it. So, based on who you are. Which is why I would advise, making use of me and, asking me to do some type of personality typing, or, be able to make this plan for you. And, I'm going to charge you for that because, there has to be some type of exchange. I guess it doesn't even have to, as long as that is, someone's yelling at me saying that, you have to pay this thing, whatever, that I don't even believe in, you can just work with the energy or whatever, you can do that, but, is anyone doing that? So it's like a, are you gonna fight me, or are you gonna go with me? Because if you're gonna go with me, if you're gonna go against me, then I have to charge you. If you're gonna, go with me, then we can do it for free. We can work, we can meet up somewhere, we can build a community. But if, you're not gonna do that, and you're like, you're cool and all, but I want to make sure that, I'm, cooler in some way, which you already are, because you are who you are and I am who I am. But, then, as long as you're fighting me, I'm gonna need that money. So, which there's nothing wrong with with healthy competition. But I'm just saying, it's only fair if you're getting paid for what you're doing, for me to get paid for what I'm doing, based on your reasoning towards that. So anyway, that said, so, yeah, so self-preservation is the first four. The first house, how you come off, and then the second house, your values and what you hold on to, what you would want to, keep after you've gone into the world originally, and you found, I value this thing, this, makes me feel safe, or, this, see, and that kind of shows you, however you want to look at that, it's like, the equivalent of, usually you're older before you burn your hand on a stove, but I've noticed that I like when I'm wearing these clothes, or whatever, and then the third house, and that comes into the money and what you want to buy and stuff. And then the third house is your, stuff you do on a whim. The fourth is your comfort zone. Can't really say it's just your home, because your body can be your home. Anything that gives you, the emotional security that would be correlated with a home, that, it giving you that, the nurturing. Okay, and that's self-preservation. Okay. And then the sexual instinct is So, you know, that's about, you know, the creativity, the making sure you make a you know, lasting impression, bonding. You know, also how you can kind of get really engrossed in something and, like, you know, quote unquote obsessive if it's unhealthy, and, you know, all that. So, you know, and going into the depths of things. So that's the 5th through the 8th house, because the 5th is your creativity, your expression. You know, so, you know, when you're enacting like the sexual instinct, you're doing what you can to, like, you know, the word they use, you know, romance or whatever, the, you know, having fun with someone, like, and then, you know, then the 6th house is, you know, the stuff that you end up doing every day. So if you're, you know, quote unquote obsessive about something, you have made that like your thing that you're focused on, making a plan around doing, you know, every day. You know, that's your thing that you're like. And from another point of view, you know, as far as like the Virgo stuff goes, the stuff you do on a whim from Virgo is like your kind of obsessions are going into the depths of things. So that's how that plays into that. And then, you know, the 7th is your relationship with other people. So, you know, the bond, like making sure you're, you know, aware of and keeping track of how you and this other person, you know, how you're connected and like what makes that bond, and, you know, what you aren't, and, you know, what they are, and, you know, what is this connection really, you know. So then, you know, then the 8th is the things you can kind of, things that can kind of suddenly come up, the sudden transformations or whatever, and the sudden like issues that can occur. So, you know, so like the SX instinct is also about that transformation and like evolution and all that, you know. So there you go. And then the social instinct, you've got the 9th through the 12th houses. So yeah, this whole 12 houses thing, it's just the flow that things go in, and, you know, life has a cycle, and it starts over at the first. So you can kind of get the Pisces thing across if you understand what, I think if you use the term flow, that's like the best word to explain, like not something that initiates the flow, because that'd be Cancer. It's definitely not Scorpio, the other water sign or whatever, with Cancer, because it's like the water sitting still. But the Pisces is the flow of the water. When you do this, what happens? And then that's why it's actually the one that's scientific, because it's testing. It's, if I drop this in the water here, what's the result? You know. Okay, so anyway, so kind of a tangent, but, you know, I just feel like something has to get the, you know, the Leo quality of how the idea of the flow can mess them up. I feel like it needs to be made for them. So, alright, so like, you know, the Leos that aren't aware of this. So, the 9th is then, you know, it's your higher beliefs and like what you've been taught, what you teach other people, and your experiences. And it's also the things that like pull you out of the 8th house. Like, you know, I'm trying not to steal all of other people's words and everything, and I probably unknowingly have, and a couple other things, but like, you know, it's like it's the 9th house is the good enough kind of, like, you know, I just got out of this shitty situation and I'm in a, somewhat of an okay place. That's the ninth. Due to what you believed and how you got through that, your experience with it. That's kind of what the ninth house is entailing. So then the 10th is, your position in the world. What is, what do people kind of see? I don't want to use the word totem, but kind of like, especially when things are focused on things like that, because I do see things shifting a bit out of this now. I do see, really ever since I made the video about how we're actually in the age of Capricorn, I've seen like a big shift, and if I'm not mistaken, directly probably because I made that video, whether you want to believe that or not. But I don't know, it's the video that somehow a bunch of people found without me advertising it. Got the most views without me advertising it, and I saw a big shift happen from it. And to toot my own horn real quick, so like, yeah, it's the house of kind of like the impact, the effect that you've had like in the world, and in like your kind of what people would come to you for, in a worldly sense. So like, say like, with this, like with me right now with making this instruction manual, it's kind of like, for the person trying to figure out their position in the world, this is, the instruction manual I'm making, because that's, I'm looked at as, because of who I am, as the person that can make a cohesive thing that everybody can learn, aligns like people's thinking and different perspectives towards how they view their status. Okay. And that's kind of what this, instruction manual is. And other people have a different form of that instruction manual that's in a different area of life. But, this is, it's this, putting order in your life kind of thing. And it doesn't, and I want to address too, it may look to others like, I don't have that or something. But see, I have, in astrology terms, Aquarius there, which basically means that, like, Aquarius is like the organization without an organization. An organization because there isn't one. Because, like, if you say this is what we're doing now, then you have to have a stance. But if I don't have a stance and I'm just trying to help everyone with it, then, that's kind of like the Aquarian way of doing it. So then, if I'm being a humanitarian, then it's like I can kind of move between other people's structures because I haven't chosen one. Right? So, in the sense of the statusy-ness or whatever. So, and then that moves on to the next thing is how, I would have Pisces there, but my point is, so then, you have the 11th house after that, which is like your networks and your gains and the people you talk to get like a big goal accomplished. So you just make a group so that you all can accomplish this, thing that you're going for. And it's also a little bit, well, let's say a major part of how you can get your message out there, because it's going to solidify making sure that what you're doing has that status behind it, because it's clear what it is because of the group. Which is also interesting or weird for me because Pisces is there, so it's like, it's like the group is always in a different flow or whatever. But, I don't know, that's the whole thing. I probably covered that in other videos and stuff, but anyway, so there's that. And then the next thing is the 12th house, which is like who you really are when you're alone, like before you get turned into all these other things. So it's, you know, from a social point, it's like, it is where you're like, it can be where you're the most giving because this is your ability, and then you decide how you want to divvy it out. I think that's how you say that, you know, to people. But you know, that's the reason it has to do with social is because, you know, the person, or, you know, but also you could look at it as the soul, or, you know, whatever's connecting everything, but, you know, it's who that person really is. You know what I mean? So, you know, so then the 9th through the 12th is, you know, the social, like that. And then to get the idea of the flow across, so the